So I found out one where it's like, essentially someone was talking about, I essentially talking to like a 13-year-old, and they asked him, "What do you have for
Uh-huh.
breakfast usually for the day?" And it was omelets. And I was like, "Oh, that's great. Uh, Omelets are really healthy. What type of omelets do you have?" And the 13-year-old apparently continued on saying, "I'm gonna let you suck on these nuts."
What? I'm gonna let you suck on these
Nuts.
nuts. I was thinking it was gonna be like, Mom, let me suck on these nuts or some shit.
Maybe it was like, I'm like gonna suck it. I'm gonna let you suck this dick or something like that nature. When you read it out, when you say it out loud, it doesn't make any sense. But when you read it, it's funny.
That's very rare. Usually jokes are way funnier when you say them out loud than when you read them.
Usually, yes, that's how that
It's like the
usually
whole
goes.
coffee fiasco of last season. Coffee. Oh, I thought
Kofi.
you guys were saying in character. No! Oh,
No.
my bad. My bad.
Kohi. Yeah, exactly.
What could be offie? Fuck!
Fuck.
No! Oh my god.
Right. So,
Uh,
but it's something I'm surprised every so often when I hear something new like that. I'm just like, I just no, I wasn't really expecting it at all, and yet here we are, in a brand new D's Nuts universe, a new era of
well,
D's Nuts jokes.
they don't have CDs anymore.
I know they don't have
No,
CDs. Nope,
so they can't see these nuts.
they can't see these nuts. They have to make them different. I'm sure that the new generation will always be making better nuts jokes.
I don't know this. I don't know, man. I think they got a vaccine against ligma and stuff like that.
The vaccine against ligma. What?
Yeah,
My
yeah, they
God.
developed a vaccine against ligma. Nobody has to suffer from it anymore.
No, they don't have to
Yeah,
suffer the ligma.
I mean, worst of all is they're gonna start bringing in up dogs.
Oh yeah, no. There's no way they're going to be able to deal with up dogs.
Yeah,
That if up
because
dogs came back, no one's immunized against it. It's everyone's susceptible to up dogs.
I was thinking of them like a bioengineered creature, but sure, it could be a disease.
Oh, I assume it's just like smallpox. Oh, we've all been immunized against up dogs, but not this new generation. It's going to spread like wildfire through them.
God, this is a slap all over again.
It is. Anyway, to everyone who's
Uh,
watching, welcome to our mid week little stream podcast here. We've done this once before. We call it slipping into the DMs.
oh
And
yes. Oh.
if you don't know, my name is Phil. I'm usually the DM for the Reroll It podcast. And for this iteration of slipping into DMs, I'm going to bring on one of our players, hopefully every week. We're going to discuss our last session and hopefully a bit of their character work and whatever else we get kind of sidetracked on, as you can see or hear, as we talked about for a good time. I recording has
Yes,
been going a
time.
little bit.
My favorite kind of measurement.
Look,
Time.
Look, I was 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, about 3 minutes. We talked about these nuts jokes. I was trying to find the timer. I was like, how long have we been talking about these nuts jokes? About 3 minutes long.
The sad part is we could have went longer.
We could have went longer, but I feel as if I should just keep track of that just in case we don't go too far and everything. Because the last thing we need is another mammal talk thing where we discuss the population of Wyoming and how majority of it's cows. So that's just
Good
something I'm going
times.
to try our best to try and like tamper down. We're going to keep on topic as long as possible. I guarantee nothing.
Okay, focus time.
Okay. Anyway,
All right.
so last Friday we had our first session of our new campaign, which we've kind of like nicknamed the Red Wall campaign.
Yes.
All animals, no humanoid ancestries were allowed in this campaign. Everything is going to be small animals, and we really wanted to do just, hey, we're going to use that Howl of the Wild that Paizo came out with, and we're just going to just take that and we're just going to have fun with it. So it's
Yes.
been, yeah, I think the first session has been quite fun and everything like that with the three siblings dynamic, and I think you guys kind of like fell into that role really well.
Yeah. No, it was super fun. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just like it's that thing like once you like get into character and you just kind of lose control of what you're doing, it's just like always a good time. So like getting to be in character and just do the dialogue and as naturally as it came out, and just like, what the fuck is that? Oh, I don't know. Hey, how about this? That's not a thing in the scenes. Oh, fuck.
Are you referring to the talking bears that so happened? You had to be like, oh, yeah, the bears. I must have been doing mushrooms that entire time. I forgot.
Yeah, yeah. Just like being able to stay in character for that stuff is like kind of when you have like the most fun
Mm-hmm.
with a character and when you're playing with people.
Sure.
Um, like I'm a big fan of big numbers and like destroying things, but it's just so much more fun when I get to be some doofus and acting like that doofus.
Right.
Uh, but Beans, what happened on Friday? We did the thing. Our mentor died, and it was
Mm-hmm.
sad. I roasted marshmallows on her because I'm a fucking psychopath, I guess.
A little bit.
Uh,
Yeah, we can do a little recap of the first session, whatnot, of this past session.
yeah,
I
I'm just
believe.
trying to remember.
Oh no, that's fine. We had the start of the session. You guys were in the middle of a fight, racing
God,
up
yeah,
like an
yeah,
entire staircase, going through a bunch of guards, and you got to the very top of this mansion. You met the Komodo King, and that entered into an actual combat zone where you guys were actually able to like test out your new characters. And the fun thing we're doing for this campaign is you guys are not all the same level. Average level is 10,
yeah,
but we have a 9, 10, and 11 character, which is pretty fun. I like it quite a bit that you guys are slightly different.
yeah. It. I think that's an interesting dynamic. It's a little frustrating, like not being able to have the level 11 stuff yet, but
Mm-hmm.
having adversity is what creates interesting things, especially in
Sure.
gaming and in story writing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that was actually really just a brilliant open. Um, I was expecting it to be like some sort of flashback thing, but for it to be like a play is just made it so much more fun. Where it's like, oh, okay, it's like seems super epic to us, but it's just these fucking hamsters in a giant uh, Komodo dragon puppet going. "Arr!"
Oh yeah, I
At
thought
the
you
end.
guys.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy. Jimmy, or no, Jimmy's one of my grandkids. Sorry, Frankie. We didn't mean to hurt you. It's fine. It's fine.
So, do you want to know where the inspiration for that setup came from?
It almost feels like it kind of reminded me of like was it Wind Waker, the puppet Ganon fight?
You're really close, actually.
Really?
It comes from Paper Mario.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't there oh, because yeah, when you do the was it the Thousand Year Door? Is
There,
that
it's
the
on a
big game?
stage. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's all on the stage, so it seems like it's a play and you have to like uh do stuff to get fans going and whatever.
exactly. That's I had the original idea. I was like, what if I have this fight like a Paper Mario fight that to you guys because you're in the moment and you're trying to do the good acting, like that's the theater of the mind inside the theater of the mind. We're a little bit of
Yeah,
like inside, but what we were going through in the game was what the audience is seeing. But in reality, you guys are fighting a giant Komodo dragon puppet.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So.
I thought that was really cool. Um, it also like really helped us figure out our roles really early on in
Mm-hmm.
combat.
Yeah. No, I think you guys figured that pretty nice. So it's pretty good how that
Yeah.
work came out.
Uh, then like after that, just getting to like do dialogue and like figure out who the mentor really is because we didn't get a lot of information about our
Mm-hmm.
mentor, and like figure that out through just small interactions and figuring out our dynamic at the same time. Where
Sure.
like the the quirks of the characters, but uh keeping it like in a kind of friendly manner.
Mm-hmm.
Uh yeah, we did that. We did the dance off. We did all those shenanigans.
Yeah. So after you
Uh
guys did that fight, revealed it was a play, and it was during a grand party for the town of Nola because it was
Yeah,
the Master Tish's Grand Diamond Jubilee, like an anniversary when she arrived to the town, and she had
yeah,
been there for so long. So it's like, oh, let's celebrate our basically matriarch of the city. And then, right, we had a dance off, went to a food festival, all these other things. That's supposed to be a really fun time.
oh, we brought the capsaicin lizards back.
We did bring Capsaicin Lizard back. So this,
Oh yeah.
with this campaign, I most likely will not bring back any characters, as I did with the previous ones, but items I'll probably come back. So random stuff we've invented and stuff like that, I think will be really fun to bring back.
Just find one wrapper from a taco gong,
Yeah, one Kakagong rapper.
ancient and yellowed.
Hey, there's no humanoid stuff. Doesn't mean their trash hasn't fallen on you guys at one point in time.
What the fuck is this language? I can't read it.
It blows in the wind. It's just a taco gong wrapper stuck onto the wall, like in the wind.
In the distance, you hear a gong chiming.
Gong.
Gong.
Dong. It's fifth meal.
So yeah, we did that. Uh, then we had the time skip into basically when our master passed away and like having to like do all the legal processes.
Sure. Yeah, that so before we hit our first break, we time skipped and it cuts to it's Roberts with the note in his hand coming back from travels, and then that's when you guys realize that Master Tish has passed away and you guys have all come back to Nola because of the funeral and getting arrangements like her estate all arranged.
Yeah, yeah.
So the very like classic like someone important has died. Okay, we have to figure out what to do next because we don't know. And you get to meet a few more people along the way. So
Yeah. And when we got those NPCs of the like, was it the Trinity?
yeah, the Trinity. So
Like it, we were definitely on. I think all three of us were on guard immediately when
Mhm.
those three came in.
of course.
Just like, which I don't know if that's that one. I'm not so sure if that was our gaming, like being the gamer instinct, or
Mhm.
actually the character instinct.
Yeah,
Because
it's a bit of an issue depending on which one you're trying to be.
I think that was my gamer instinct coming out a lot more than my character instinct.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, oh, you're part of your extended family. Yeah, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah,
Instead,
yeah, yeah.
instead of like, who are you and why are you here? Why are you taking my stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
You bastard.
That
That kind of
so
thing.
no, I get it. I mean, I really introduced the Trinity. So essentially, after the party regroups, and it's been a number of years since the flashback to the Grand Jubilee, Master Tish has died. So the Trinity is introduced, and that was partially to introduce like three working pieces of this world. You know,
Yeah.
get the Brotherhood of the Dawn, the Silent Night, and the Dusk Walkers, groups that you'll probably run into on your travel because they're so widespread.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and really establish like who, like how these characters and maybe what the organizations are really focused on.
Yeah.
What's the point of them?
And especially making one tell me that he had terrible diarrhea.
Well, you offered him a mushroom, and then Honk and Roberts were just like, "Don't do it." And one of them said, "I'm fasting." One of them said, "I had a big breakfast," and the turtle couldn't come up with a good lie, so he just said he had the runs.
Well, you know what? If they had a mushroom, there wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, obviously.
I have a
So
high enough crafting skill where I'm sure it would have been fine.
possibly, we don't know, but I think it was just funnier of a joke of like one
Oh
gives
yeah.
you a very good reason, one gives you like yeah, it's an acceptable reason, and one just gives you an awful reason. Like,
Oh, sorry, I got the wrong. Well, here, have some Pepto Bismol.
oh, well, jokes on you. I'm a doctor.
Make sure you take this with plenty of water.
Yes. So
Uh,
no, after getting to that point, you guys then are, I believe it's sorted out. The estate is sorted out
Yeah.
from Master Tish. She gave you guys land off her actual estate stuff, and the meeting hall is the students' property. And then she
yeah, we
gives you
got
guys,
the paintings.
yeah, it gives you guys three paintings, which you guys open later. But of course, we skip forward in that scene. you get to the point of the cremation, and this is where it's revealed that Master Tish is actually a Nile crocodile, and she's basically Godzilla in her normal form.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like upwards of like, was it 12 to 20 feet tall, when
Jesus.
Lei Honk is, a foot and a half or so.
Yeah.
He is a large medium character in this world, and she is like almost 20 feet tall when she's not using magic to shrink herself. So Godzilla is now laying in the harbor wrapped up.
And on fire.
Well, you guys do light her on fire, so like that's afterwards. She's all prepared. You have the emotional scene of saying goodbye, and then you light the pyre.
I had to try so hard not to ruin that scene.
I
I wanted to ruin it
My
so
queen.
much. Oh God, I wanted the fedora tip so bad.
I thought it was
My
going.
queen.
I think it's like, my queen. Do you know the way? I thought you were going to do that old dead meme.
Oh my God, I wanted to ruin it so badly.
Um,
No, that scene was actually really good.
it was really good. I think you guys did really well. Um,
Yeah.
Something I was surprised about was Fry asking to see, like, making a perception roll on the body, because I had her, like, the book that she was holding hidden, and then you're supposed to find it. But then I wasn't expecting one of you guys like, I'm going to examine this dead body.
Well, his character was also like the most distraught, like not trusting
Mm-hmm.
that this was actually real because of the uh, playful, pranky nature those two had with each
Right.
other. So I
Right.
think the perception was more of like, uh, how do I poke the body without poking the body, kind of
Of
thing.
course. So I think it was just a really fun and natural way that he
Yeah.
chose to actually examine the body. But skip forward a little bit there. The pyre goes on all night. The body burns away to ash. And then as you guys go to like examine the bits of it, roast marshmallows, because we have to make a joke even in a somber
Hmm.
scene. That's where you
Yep.
find her journal,
Hmm.
like a precious metal journal. I said it's something akin to the Mummy with the Book of the Dead or Book of the Living that you find,
Hmm.
something of that nature, just pure metal, and it is her entire journal, something you guys all knew about, and it had been transmutated from paper to metal, and you guys find it in the ashes and realize that, like, oh, this is her diary. It's everything she's ever done recorded here, and you realize that that diary has all the pieces that the Trinity want to. So
Yes.
I think it was really fun that, of course, you guys said, no one's going to touch this. I think that's a very obvious choice from you guys once you
Yeah,
found it.
because I mean, the only obligation we technically had to the Trinity was in the dispersing of the vault,
Of course.
and this wasn't in the vault,
Yeah, it wasn't.
so
So,
it's none of their business.
hmm? Yeah, on top of that, you guys unwrapped those paintings after all
Mhm.
this point, and I thought it was really fun of an exercise that, like, because I didn't think of it, I was like, what do you guys think this painting of is? And I thought it was really fun to see you guys as like, what the Master Tish's reflection of like how each one of your guys' characters would be.
Yeah, that requires some quick thinking. I was like, okay, here we
Mm-hmm.
go. Let's see what Shawnee did something sentimental. Oh, that Fry did another sentimental thing. Ah, shit, I can't do a piece of poop. That doesn't make sense. I got to think of something that fits with my character and the secrets that I have and have
The
created.
secrets.
And yeah, that's why we got the bush and the shrooms.
Yeah, no, it works out. It's nice and vague and mysterious, and it works perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys figured out there's something magical about the paintings, but don't really know what it is. You just know they're magical.
And then our minds got blown because we found out there's more crocodile gigantic things
Mm-hmm.
and an entire continent that
Yes.
we have no clue exists.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
You
mean,
guys.
oh, go ahead.
I was like, no. You guys found out that this archipelago you guys live on is not the only continent.
And it also raises to me the question of like, how big is our archipelago like in our human standards? Like, are we talking like the Florida Keys archipelago is what they consider the continent?
No, I consider the continent to be something like akin to the size of Japan.
Okay.
It's a
So,
big
okay.
continent.
Actually, continent.
Yeah,
Oh, island.
it's an
Japan's not a
island,
continent.
but like to a goose to a chipmunk,
Yeah.
it's the Americas. It's gigantic.
So we're gonna go over to Russia and just fucking be bamboozled.
Could be, but yeah, that's the idea. I mean, I considered it more like the size wise Japan, Hokkaido, but the way it's been distributed to be Hawaii.
Okay.
So if you took Hawaii,
That's kind
grabbed a
of what I was
corner and
figuring.
dragged it up, yeah, that's how big the continents are. So the islands, people can travel. You guys are on the big island. It's the main one that has the
Hmm.
biggest volcano, but there's islands on either side of it that flighted birds, animals that can swim have gone to other islands. They're not terribly far away. Probably
Yeah.
like less than half a mile between them of a strait, so you can easily see them from one
Okay.
coast to the other.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, and that pretty much takes us to the end of the session.
yeah.
Uh,
You guys decide to peace out, and you guys want to go take your master's ashes to her homeland.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was basically the end of end of that session. So a very like role play heavy one. I think because we front loaded all the dice rolling to the battle at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, it was just a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, getting just playing off of each other and just shenanigans.
Yeah. So with that recap done, now it's time to have the other fun questions. So I'm going to have with every one of the players on our first slipping through the DMs. I want to know what was the inspiration behind for Werther Jenkins, an old man.
As you know, I think very deeply and put hard concentration into my favorite characters that I make.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember what I said is, what if a cockroach was piloting a tree or a robot or something? Is what I told you. Or I think I said, can I play a cockroach? Because the
Yes,
idea of a cockroach being an apothecary was hilarious to me.
of course.
And then we kind of workshopped it into a cockroach with like a mech.
Yeah, because why not?
Yeah. And uh the rest of that came from there. I think like the initial inspiration of the character was it was in our last campaign. I don't remember why oh, I did the old man voice because I was trying to like sneak around for something
Sure.
and I was trying to think of a good stupid name
Mm-hmm.
for like undercover stuff and I
Mm-hmm.
have this bag of Werther's original next to me, like literally.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like old man Werther's. There we go. That's the name.
I believe it was you used threefold aspect and you turned to old man version of your character and you named him
Yes.
Werther's, old man Werther's.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
that's where that part came in. And then when I created the character, because I have a really great memory,
Mm-hmm.
I named him Old Man Jenkins. And then you reminded me that it was Old Man Werther's. And I was like, oh shit.
I was wondering
I
why.
guess it's Werther's Jenkins now.
I was wondering why. I was like, old man Werther's. Okay, I know old man's the tree and Werther's the cockroach. But it's like Jenkins Werther's or Werther's Jenkins. Like, where did Jenkins come from? Like, oh, that's right. You named him Old Man Jenkins on accident, not Old Man Werther's.
Because I'm really good at remembering things,
Of
obviously.
course, of course.
So that's where the full name comes from. And basically, I just took a joke and just wanted to run with it because from I had a lot of fun with Throg. I think I think I did a good job with him, but he was not my most favorite character that I played.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, role playing wise,
Sure.
mechanically he was very fun. Uh, role playing I just felt dry. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how to put it. At least compared to like coming off of Concord, who was one of my most favorite characters I ever did.
Sure.
And so I've kind of just like I'm just gonna come up with stupid ideas and roll with it because it's easier for me to jump into that character
Mm-hmm.
than to try and force a character to happen kind of deal.
Right. I mean, you've played characters like Piloty. You've done um, Jim Schmelbeck slash Rodney, and then
He was a
who
fun
you
character too.
retired to play Concord Grape, and then finished the campaign with Concord Grape to play Throg, and now you're playing Old Man and Jenkins, Old Man and
Yeah,
Werthers. So
Old Man Werthers.
Old Man Werthers. So it seems like Throg was the outlier in most of it, which is majority of your characters are usually they have some shtick.
Yeah,
But it's funny that it is integrated into the character itself, and then the character evolves as we play through the campaign. I think this is most
yeah.
apparent with Concord Grape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that's why I like starting with a shtick, just
Mm-hmm.
because it makes it easier to think of the character's personality,
Sure.
because they already have a personality trait, and you can just branch from that.
Mm-hmm. It makes
Uh,
sense.
and as I'm sure is gonna come out through like more sessions, it's just the absolute insanity that I put into our very short backstory
Yes, that's one thing I
and the
did do for you
stupid
guys.
names that I came up with.
Yeah, I had
Oh my
uh,
god.
for backstories, I had you guys have a word limit, 1 page or 250 words.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was getting backstories from previous campaigns that were like multitude of pages with like different dates and people and events. I was like, no, 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 we're not doing that. Just give me 1 page. Give me an abstract of 250 words. That's all I want. 500, like 250, 300 words. That's all I can deal with. Any more than that, I'm not going to like pay attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine if you want to do that stuff on your own time, but I think for how we play, that's a little excessive.
A little bit. We don't because usually the characters evolve. Like we start with a very like you have your backstory, you give me a good idea what the character is, and then we mold the character going forward. Like they of
Yeah.
course evolve, but you need some sort of base.
Yeah.
That was an issue we had in our last campaign. Is that I had some people give me a hugely detailed character, and some people gave me a really like vague vague character, nothing that had anything really solid or anything for me to bite onto. So having to work
Yeah.
with multiple characters which have lots of backstory and very little backstory or very little character stuff sometimes can be a bit of an issue. So a lesson I learned was I just worked with you guys to try to make something that had a little bit more teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Uh,
fine. Came out great this time.
yeah. I think a lot of the stuff that is like gonna unfold is gonna be really fun, especially like some of those like secrets that we're hiding from each other that we're excited for the other players to figure out if they figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's another big thing that I really enjoy about this campaign is that so we shrunk down the party, and right now we only have 3 people, and we have 3 siblings, which I think is really fun of a dynamic because all of us
Yes.
who are playing all have siblings. We're all the different stages. Shawnee's actually the oldest sibling. I'm the youngest. I think you're the youngest, and I think Fry is the older of the
Yes,
siblings.
he's the oldest.
So like we have half the group that's the oldest or the older of the siblings, and we have half the group that's the youngest of the sibling of their siblings. So
Yeah.
funny enough, we don't have a middle child in our group.
Nope.
Even though we have, even though Fry is playing the middle child, uh, quote unquote.
Hmm.
But I think it's really fun that it's like okay, so we're gonna have a family thing, so we can all kind of draw on like what it is to be this family member or what it is to be like maybe not be the youngest or maybe be the middle. Though it is you guys did kind of sort out to being like Shawnee being the oldest sibling playing Lei Honk, and you're the youngest
Hmm.
of your siblings and you're playing the youngest character or like the younger of the siblings.
And I'm also playing the oldest acting character,
Right, right. That so
which is equally hilarious.
it's very funny. I think it's also something that people are questioning like so Werther's is technically the youngest sibling, but yet he acts the oldest, and so we kind of had to like go back and forth to figure out how we're gonna fit this into like the world and story building. And I think what we came up with is that Werther's awakened late in his life, and when you
Yes.
awaken, your lifespan is extended, so he gets just to be old for the rest of his life. He doesn't
Yeah.
get to enjoy youth. He's already enjoyed youth, gone by. Now he just be an old man for 50 years.
Yeah, I think I also realized like I think I said that he was like during the festival that he was almost 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had the 2 year time skip, so he's like 5
Yeah.
years old now.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
he's one of the oldest cockroaches that has ever existed.
Yeah, like basically, unless they should bump into other awakened cockroaches. Like,
Which I have.
yeah, you have to,
my my great grandchildren
right?
running pyramid
Running
schemes.
pyramid schemes, doing crypto. Was a
Uh,
Pimmy, Schmimmy, and Jimmy. Or three cockroaches
yeah.
in a trench coat trying to sell non-secure or non-securities.
I think that's also like one of my favorite things when playing with this group is just like offhandedly creating people.
Right. Well, it's a giant world we have, and you have to fill it with people, fill it with things. And so when you guys just kind of throw shit out there, like, oh, I've created like a capsaicin lizard. It's like, well, now the world has capsaicin. The world gets filled as we play it, and it slowly gets built and built.
And usually, if we remember a character, we just tend to create something entirely hilarious out of them,
Mm-hmm.
unless we like purposely try to build the character as an NPC.
Yeah, then that doesn't work. I mean, okay, so we had in campaign two or the what should we call it? The Galactic Library campaign.
Oh yeah, I think I
Um,
called it the Hollow Orin theory or something.
yeah, the Orin campaign. That's what I called it because that was the first
Mhm.
place we started. So in on the Orin campaign, we created Jerry. Jerry was just
Jerry.
supposed to be off screen constantly, and you never heard him. But by you making a joke, you gave him a voice, and then Jerry became a character. And then people loved Jerry, and then Jerry slowly became more and more, and then he'll eventually he was John Wick.
And the best part is like I had literally created a deific being that's
Yes.
supposed to be benevolent to help you guys, and you all are just like, "Fuck you! You made fun of our friend.
I
Let's
mean,
get out of here."
when Shawnee GM'd, it was the same way. She created like this evil wall thing, and then
That's right.
it's like,
They're gonna give you a thing. Well, they aren't now.
I think two things from the Orin campaign I loved. One, in your when you were DMing, it was these magical gemstones were being lit up in this temple. And
Yeah,
then the character I played named George, who later becomes Death, is blind. And no one tells him that these gemstones are lighting up until the very last one. And then they tell him what they're doing is causing like runes and gemstones to shine. And then he's finally filled in because they forget he's blind.
because I explain it to them in character what they're
Uh,
saying, and it just didn't translate.
I did translate, but it's just hilarious to hear. Um, and then the other funny part is when Shawnee was DMing, it was that wall that stole your memories. And I asked her, I'm
Mhm.
like, does that wall like go out into the cavern? She's like, no. I'm like, well, I take my molecular sword and I carve my way through, and I go around the stupid wall, so I don't touch it.
Oh god, there was also the Tontoozler was a fun NPC, but we did not latch onto him at all.
Yeah, the Tontoozler was honestly, I enjoy doing the Tontoozler's voice because it is just King Candy
Yeah.
mixed with Bernie Sanders.
Oh yeah. No,
That's it.
he was a fun NPC, but we just didn't latch onto him.
It's fine.
Or uh, the other one that we kept uh, back in the Orin campaign that we kept ruining the life of was Sam and Steve.
Sam and Steve. I was going to bring up
Just
Sam and
a
Steve.
middle class worker where we're just like, who can we blame for this thing? How about this random person?
I do love
We
it
just
because
kept dumping horrible things on him.
and it slowly becomes more and more grizzled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
like
what do you mean you faxed them the important document or rocketed the important documents to them? I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't do it. Like, but you're the name on who was on the receipt.
What do you mean that you gave that they sold? What do you mean that you gave them clearance to be here? What?
I don't understand. Yeah, man, we beat up Sam and Steve so much, and to the point where it was, I think, at the very end of the Orin campaign, uh, he was part of the fighting force that helped to
Yeah.
like reclaim the Pack world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was there. He's like a general or some shit.
some shit. Like, man, that man had an entire campaign by himself. I'm
Oh yeah,
sure I could probably whip up a campaign, and someone has to be Sam and Steve, and then everyone
I
gets
will
to
do it.
be everyone gets to be other characters that Sam and Steve goes along with.
I will be Sam and Steve. I'm down for that.
Oh God, yeah, that's all. Like, it's fantastic. I liked Orin. Orin gave us a lot of great characters when it came down to it.
Oh yeah,
And with Primavera, we had a lot of good characters. Still, not as many. A lot of the ones we enjoyed the most were actually borrows from Orin.
yeah,
It's an unfortunate part of it all when you stick two campaigns together. Sometimes the popular ones just kind of get thrown in there.
yeah. And I think it was also someone of us players trying to be slightly more serious in that campaign.
Slightly, yeah. I it's a lesson I learned from, of course, Primavera when we played that. It was something where I realized I gotta tell you guys a lot more about the campaign and a lot more settings. I'm keeping some
Hmm.
things to myself, but like when we got all the characters together, I was like, oh, this dynamic is not gonna work for what I think of. I had to rebuild this, and so that's
Yeah.
and it happens, and it's a campaign I can always bring back later. I mean, I have three or four more campaign settings already thought of.
Well, I mean, even though we're like talking the critiques about it, we still had a great time.
Oh, it was a fun time. It's just hard to come off the fun that was Orin into Primavera, and because Orin we had such a high note of playing
Yeah.
that one. But I
I
can
know the
only
ending was
hope.
pretty great. Pirates and
The Pirates and Cheese, yeah.
becoming a president.
Honestly, that was actually so. Throg's uh, character arc in Primavera, the one where he got to talk to Grass, honestly was one of my favorite scenes to roleplay.
Oh, cool.
Because Grass was
I
actually
enjoyed that one because that was difficult.
yeah, Grass was probably one of my favorite characters I got to play as like the DM and being an enemy or like an antagonist. Um,
Yeah, because he wasn't like a true antagonist.
no, that was kind of the point. Honestly, none of the antagonists you guys run into in Primavera were supposed to be true antagonists.
Besides Sigmund, because he's a dick.
I mean, yes, he's the big bad of everything. And honestly, if you guys interacted with him more, probably would have like been a bit harder of a choice. But because you interact with him like twice, and you're like, "Fuck this guy,"
Oh god, the fucking fuck ups I did to actually give us the damn reveal.
yeah, yeah, it happens sometimes. So, but
God, that was great.
yeah, but with that, I think when it comes down to like what Alpida is going to be this campaign, I think
Hmm.
it's I think I look forward to what it's going to be and everything like that. So, but I know we're only one session in when it comes down to like this campaign and whatnot. But what are you predicting, like in this campaign? What do you think might be happening?
My predictions,
Yeah,
shenanigans,
of
first
course.
and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I'm not quite sure because we decided to go with like a kind of a Freyrin post adventure thing, and um, our quest isn't like a big deal, right?
Of course.
We're doing something sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know one of the things I'm kind of looking forward to is like potentially meeting the inventor that's going to help us get across the ocean. Because I
Oh
think that's going to
yes.
be really interesting in universe how
Mm-hmm.
uh, they either figured out how to reverse engineer ships or figured out their own way to create shipping.
Sure.
Uh, I think another thing is just like I think what will be interesting is how we're going to do kind of those mini quests that are along the trail
Right. Right.
and how well how well we can get into actually investing into those mini quests
Mm-hmm.
because it's very easy to get the like you wander into this village and they have a problem. Cool. Bye.
I mean,
Kind of situation.
that's a fair point when it comes down to these things. Um, I think the way I've thought of how to do this is that journal you guys have that
Mm,
essentially when we start our next session on Friday, it is, hey, you have to go backwards in time, but Tish had been in NOLA for about 100 plus years now, like quite some time. And so it's
yeah.
multiple generations of awakened animals have gone by since she settled, which means like it was 100 plus years ago that her last journal entry when she was traveling was written. So
Yeah.
you have to go backwards in time, and the journal entries aren't going to match what it is currently. So a lot of the mini
Oh
quests
yeah.
are going to be, okay, we need information. Well, we can't give it to you. Why? Because this problem is happening, or something else has changed. We can't get to that point that you think is the key to figuring out this journal entry. So a lot of it's still
Yeah.
going to be like less of like we have problems and you guys are the adventurers coming in, and more like we can't solve this puzzle until we get blank information, but blank information is locked until this problem's like dealt with, or like townsfolk won't help us until an issue is dealt with.
Yeah.
And it could be something even more like pressing. It could be demons. I don't know, that type of thing. Like very much in the free
Yeah.
reign style, where it's just like, oh, this town has made friends with like I have no idea, horrible tentacle monsters. And you're just like, that's wrong. And they're like, no, it's fine. And you realize the tentacle monsters are going to eat them. That type of thing.
I mean, if you bring, I mean, I gave you a lich.
Yeah.
If you bring
I
him
mean,
back,
yeah.
he can cause all sorts of shenanigans.
It's actually very funny that like you made a lich, and then Shawnee's character, they honk, also dealt with liches. It's like undead and everything like that. So you guys both wrote
Yeah.
undead centric backstories, which I think is very funny how those kind of
Oh
lined up.
yeah.
So
Uh yeah, no, I think that part's going to be interesting and just like I think another thing that might be fun is the different things that we're going to run into
mm-hmm.
because if since we're doing this kind of post humanity or post humanoid, I should
Mm-hmm.
say, era, this it leaves room to like create different monsters that have potentially some of those humanoid traits
Sure.
or to create different evolutions of things that are familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that will also be kind of interesting to see if we can find it. I mean, the music thing is also kind of cool, I guess. I,
Oh
I mean,
yes,
I
the
think music's
music.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Music's
I
pretty cool.
yeah, I can also bring that up a little bit. Yeah, I that's another topic point I wanted to bring up was the fact that so for this campaign, what I'm trying to do is that LPW will also have a playlist that's available on the YouTube. So throughout the arcs, I'll be updating it with a couple songs, about 3 to 4 songs that fit that moment, and you can go through kind of basically through the playlist, and that playlist will kind of give you the vibe as the campaign goes on. So as you listen to it, there'll be different beats and different changes in tone, and that will kind of match the different sessions going on.
Yeah.
Our first one, I believe, was "The Sky Is Crying."
Yep.
Was the first
And
song I had.
the sky's crying.
We have
Georgia.
Georgia, and then we have John Denver's "Country Roads."
Yeah.
Yeah, to give like the first like feeling of this initial arc of
Yeah.
Master dies, sad song. Then we have the realization that she has a home, hence the Ray Charles song, and then actually taking off to head home for Country Roads.
Yeah.
So very much I thought this would be really fun, and I've really tried for this time. And initially, because you guys called me out on this because I didn't mean to do this, but NOLA, obviously, it's not New Orleans, Louisiana. I just like randomly generated names, and NOLA came up, and I thought that was great. Of course, in hindsight, of course, it's a good name. There's an actual cool place named NOLA.
True.
Um,
True facts.
but it's more or less like I guess it was like subconsciously I chose that one for that reason because NOLA and Elpida is is supposed to be southern United States. It's supposed to be the
Yeah.
Mississippi Delta because I discussed how like there's oak with Spanish moss. It's humid and warm, and even to the point of how Tish talks is how I was trying to get the point across
Oh yeah.
that this is supposed to be very much south of the like southern parts of the United States, and you guys be traveling through it. And the music I've been trying to figure out is really that's trying to do like blues being the first part, and then as you guys travel, more flavors to different American regions for
Oh yeah.
music.
Because like especially like hanging out in, I mean, if we're going historically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
not um modern wise,
No,
because modern music evolves in very different and rapid paces, but historically, like the Delta was the birthplace of what we know as the blues.
of
I mean,
course.
there's different variations
Mm-hmm.
because there's the Delta blues, there's the Texas blues, there's the Chicago blues, and I think there's in Kansas City as well.
Sure,
And
sure,
then
sure.
other ones that appeared as the music spread.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it really it it gives you like chances to play off of some of the cool mythology that's
Mm-hmm.
inside music history there. Like we could go to the crossroad, which could be really fun.
Right.
Uh, and then just uh words.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Words.
I
Words. Yeah,
they're
I'm
there.
good with them.
Uh huh.
uh no, I just lost my train of thought. Just it to me it's always I'm a music person, that's like my thing, so just like a chance to like have to get people to expose people to this music that's kind of been unknown for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and just like it's so cool. Like I don't have my full brain power to really express what I'm trying to say,
Sure.
but one of my favorite things being a musician and being so into music history is watching the evolution of ideas and how they've influenced everything past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's very hard for a lot of modern audiences to, and sometimes I wouldn't say like fully appreciate, but sometimes appreciate these older styles because it's so foreign and so different at this point. But then you can find those tidbits that carry over, and you can show them how this one idea that came from this one person just like slowly evolved and kept inside of what we were doing for music for decades. And
Right.
it's really cool.
Yeah. I think the reason why I wanted to start with the blues as my initial like base, starting off this campaign on that one, because obviously because it's in its name, it's the blues. It's a somber style of music. That's all where it all comes from. I'm not a music historian, but I do have an idea of like it comes from how should I put it? From my understanding, being part of the enslaved population way back when, and it's all a bunch of different mixtures of musical styles and expressing that despair that comes with being enslaved, and then being
Yeah.
all the problems that come along after that, even after emancipation, all that. But also, it's because for especially American music, American girl and stuff, the blues is kind of the base of the root system that a lot of what we think of American music
Oh yeah.
all kind of like spawns out of. So I thought it was
Yeah.
a good place to start because it's the base, it's the trunk of American music. So why not start there and start picking songs from there?
Yeah. The blues and jazz
Mm-hmm.
were kind of they were really interconnected early on, and obviously branched out later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they were definitely it's foundation. Both of the styles are or genres are just foundational, and uh, just like so many of those ideas have are still in the music we listen to, And I think my favorite one, my the like most hilarious things to me is when I talk with younger musicians and they try to tell me about genres and
Mm-hmm.
tell me what this is. I'll pull out some like old school blues, like 1950s, 1930s
Sure.
recordings, stuff. And I play it for them and it makes me like, oh, that's country. And like, you can't, I don't want to be like, I don't want to face one like, are you for real? You think this is country? Are you kidding me? No, because to them, country is an acoustic guitar and slide, because that's what became country in like the 1980s and the 1990s.
Yeah.
And but to me, when I hear it, it's like, no, this is no, that's not even close to the same.
Huh.
Because even rockabilly, which would go on to become rock and roll, is like for some young musicians is country music, and that's bizarre to me.
Yeah, that is interesting because when you mention acoustic guitar and a slide, my first thing is also blues that came to my head.
Yeah,
So I didn't even think like yeah, it is in country. I didn't even think about that. I it's one of those things where before we started this campaign, I had been listening to just playlist after playlist, blues and R and B, and a couple of, and some older country and bluegrass, or actually, yeah, bluegrass. Um, Trying to get like an idea of all the different songs I want to collect, and so I can fit them in. And it's silly when you listen to some of them, what like snippets of music you hear in, let's say, a Muddy Waters song, and
mm-hmm.
it shows up everywhere. Like
Oh yeah,
it shows up in the '70s and rock and roll, shows up in the '90s and pops. You're just like, oh
oh
my
yeah.
god, like this is just this, and like I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember this ever coming earlier, but it does. There it is.
Yeah, that's my bread and butter. That's what makes me so excited is like finding those like those things. Like the most infamous is the honky tonk rhythm,
Yeah.
blues shuffle,
Mm-hmm.
because that came around like God, almost over 100 years ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still songs that use that same pattern and that same rhythmic drive, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so cool seeing the different ways that people have integrated it. Um, but continuing like on with how interesting it is how genres shift and change is even country music is is interesting to me in a way because of different uh, how different I think a lot of millennials consider country music compared to the country music that's on the radio,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe more people who had older parents, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I'm speaking only for myself, but like the little bit of modern country that I've listened to, which is not very much, does not sound like country music to me. It sounds like
Mm-hmm.
pop music, which is fine and dandy. Those people are making more money than I am.
Fair.
uh, but like when I think about country, I think like Reba McEntire, Johnny Cash,
Mm-hmm.
Willie Nelson,
Yep.
uh, Tennessee Ernie Ford, like all these artists from like the 40s to like the 80s.
Right.
And when you compare those two things, it's like you hardly see any common ground just because of how different the songwriting has become and how much of a shift it's changed into being more commercial.
Yeah, I think about it, and of course, while going through my like hunt through all the different music, of course, Johnny Cash came up, and I realized Johnny Cash. I think the one that sticks out to me is it Folsom?
Folsom Prison Blues. Yep.
Folsom Prison Blues. I listened to Folsom Prison Blues, and it actually reminds me a little bit more of like the earliest hip hop scene with like your Tupac and everything else, because like in both cases or like a lot of those scenes you're talking about being in prison because you did something or like wrongly did something, and you're looking out from the prison outwards about like, oh
Mhm.
well, if this these are these people and whatnot, and it's really funny that that old country and then something we don't consider country at all have closer in common than old country does with the newest, like the most modern ones that are coming out recently.
Oh
So
yeah. Like
it's interesting. Like, oh, huh,
yeah, if you like go through all the old country and western tunes, they're like they're usually like filled with sad songs about people breaking the law and stuff.
I will say,
Uh
Western tunes, great. Once I found that one artist, is it Robbins? He wrote the Big Iron.
oh yeah.
I
Isn't
listened
that like Marty Robbins or whatever?
Marty Runs. I Ballad of the Gunslinger. I listened to
Yeah.
all of that. Fantastic. I was like, man, I wish there were more Western tunes because this stuff is great.
Oh, western's super fun.
Uh,
I think Willie Nelson started as a western singer.
did he?
I think that's what he was originally considered.
Yeah,
Before it turned into the and before it turned more into country.
sure.
Uh, him and oh gosh, I think Merle Travis.
Mm-hmm.
They were the big kind of like western guys at the time. Uh, and a lot of the Bakersfield musicians, but just like these songs about cowboys and cowboy nonsense and like dealing with the highwayman or being a highwayman and
Right?
like all that kind of nonsense is really fun. Like
It's just
uh
utter nonsense. It doesn't exist. But man, is it fun to listen to? Like the one that I like outside of Big Iron was El Paso, and that
yep.
same album where he talks about the man who killed a man, but he ran away from the law. But his love is still in El Paso, so he went there and he got gunned down, and he died in the love arms of his love. It's like, oh my god, it's just a telenovela, but in a freaking song.
Oh yeah.
It's
Uh
fantastic.
Johnny Cash's last or second to last album that I recorded, the cover album that had Hurt and all that,
Yes.
had a lot of really great country and western covers
Mm-hmm.
in there too. Like Streets of Laredo, which is a classic.
Oh
That's
yes.
such a sad dang song.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I always or there's another one, I think it was called I Hung My Head.
Oh
That one was
yeah.
sad as shit.
Right.
God, that was a good song. Uh but the one that I loved the most was called Sam Hall. And
Hmm.
it was a song about a bandit. And it's just like it was a fuck you song. I loved it because he's just like it was like my name it is Sam Hall, Sam Hall. My name it is Sam Hall, it is Sam Hall. My name it is Sam Hall, and I hate you one and all, and I hate you one and all. Damn your eyes. And it's just like he keeps piling on to like these more like fuck you, and fuck you too. And when I'm dead, I'll see you in hell. Fuck you.
Oh,
And
that's
it's great.
fantastic.
It's so fun.
That's great. I love hearing. It's part of me is like I enjoy the internet because you can find a lot of the stuff like archived, especially on
Oh
YouTube
yeah.
nowadays. But some of it you have to go still digging for it. So I guess maybe
Oh
that's
yeah.
the fun of you can go find vinyls and go find some of these like
Right.
random songs, random albums. You're like, oh, look at this Western song. I have no idea if it's good. It's I guess it's the same way of like if you go to like Japan and you go to their 1980s like pop funk era, and some
Oh
you can
yeah.
just find great music in that era. Of like, man,
Oh
this
yeah.
is fantastic.
It's so as a musician, it's so this era of music is so exciting and exhilarating
Mm-hmm.
because we have access to everything. And you don't have to be constrained to the radio. You can go out and find these really unique ideas and really unique artists.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go find the scenes where people are doing things that don't make sense. Uh, I know J-pop and K-pop have had a really big impact on the American market simply because they're not afraid to mix things together that aren't supposed to be mixed together.
Sure.
Like in a I think like the last J-pop tune I heard had a rock and roll piece, a pop piece, a rap section, and then a death metal section. And
Heck
like
yeah.
these things don't sound like they work together, but it's cool.
I mean, we know this is that it, especially in the J-pop scene, is that they will do, let's say, a classic one. It's "Give Me Chocolate." The lyrics and the metal music don't match at all. You're just
No.
like, what is this pop band? And then it has a metal backing band behind it, and then you kind of put it together. You're like, kind of love it. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. It's that kind of like fearlessness in their music that is what makes it so fun to listen to, cuz there's a time at all this ugh, there's great music everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and there's great music still being produced even on the commercial scale,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems that there's so few artists or so few record labels, at least the really big ones, that are willing to take risks in what they're doing. Like I think Beyonce is the last one that took a big risk, her and Lil Nas X, and like actually trying to do country.
Sure.
Not all being country musicians, but doing country, and
I'm
that's
going.
like
I'm gonna
it's
guess.
awesome.
I'm gonna guess that's probably because Lady Gaga kind of opened the door for a lot of that stuff because she just kind of like
That's
bust into
true.
different genres. She did what, lounge singing with Tony Bennett. She did
Yep.
country, like she does a lot of stuff. I'm like, I'm not too much of a fan of her music. Not that it's bad. I just don't listen to it.
Hmm.
But like the woman just is like, I'm going to do something else and just wanders off into something else, which you have to respect. And then other people are like, oh, you can do that, can't you? And they wander
Oh
off
yeah.
and go do it, which is, I guess, just needs one person to do it.
Yeah,
Um,
and just it takes that one person and that one person to be commercially successful to it
yeah,
to for it to start to become the norm.
it's true.
So it almost feels like we're beyond the age where we're gonna have these like brilliant musicians that come out of nowhere, like
Mm-hmm.
Prince, like the Beach Boys, like the
Sure.
Beatles, and all that other jazz. Was I was listening to Prince like the other day. Uh, I don't remember what song it was. It wasn't Purple Rain. I know that
Mm-hmm.
much. And I was like listening to it and like jamming out, and I had like that profound realization, like this dude wrote everything and played everything on this song. Like there are parts in it that are weird,
Mm-hmm.
like legitimately weird, and like don't make sense to me. Like, but this dude did everything. That's amazing.
Right? It's crazy when you think like, wait, this person played all these things or did all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Or even if you have like a group, like it's four people, like the Beatles and whatnot, or anything else, and they don't have like a producer who wrote everything or thing. They got together, they wrote it, they composed it, and boom, you have a song. You're like, nowadays you're like, what? Like it's so hard to find people who can do all that, even in a group sometimes, and be
Yeah,
commercially viable.
yeah, that's the big part. Because I'm like thinking like there's lots of rock and metal groups that still do that,
Mm-hmm.
but they're definitely, I mean, they're making lots of money and surviving, but it's not the like 1970s, 1980s of like peak rock and heavy metal
Sure.
stardom and gallons of cash and stuff.
Right, right. And I'm it also depends like if these people are ones who got their foot in the door early enough or they can continue to be successful and
Yeah.
be sustainable. But I think nowadays it's just so hard to find people who can like get it, get their foot in the door and they maintain that quality or that level without stuff like being meddled with along the way.
Yeah, I think the only one I can think of, and this is just because I don't know a lot of modern music, so my takes can be vastly wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to admit that. But I've heard like Billie Eilish is really has a lot of control over her creative output,
Yeah.
and I do like what I hear from her. It's not my most favorite thing, but there is a uniqueness to it.
I will say the girl has a nice voice.
True.
Yeah. So,
Uh, so who knows? It might be shifting that way.
mm-hmm.
I'm 100% willing to be wrong about my hot take.
Yeah,
Actually, I would
whatever.
love to be wrong, honestly. Please,
Right?
somebody out there prove me wrong because I'm down for it.
Please, music industry, do something. You're just poking it with a
Please,
stick.
please, youngsters, teach me. Send me something cool.
Do it. Do something cool. Come on.
Don't send me Skibbity Toilet, because I will scream. I will punch a hole through my screen if I get like some skibbity fucking nonsense. Because I
I feel as
deal
if
enough with that.
I was gonna say I feel as if that's already passed. They're going to send you something else.
It's not.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh
you
God,
know,
it's not.
that shows you how much I interact with
It,
youth.
it never ends.
It never ends, ever.
Ah, the hubris. The hubris.
Well, that was a
Uh,
fun, like I said, that was a fun deep dive into the music history and whatnot, and
Talk to
all
me anytime about it, people.
and all because like now we have an ongoing playlist for this campaign.
Sure.
So that's where it all started from. If you
Da,
zoned
da, da,
out,
da.
and we're changing pop topics before we close this out.
Oh,
So,
all right. Yep. Cows have voting
oh,
rights.
they do in
Uh,
Wyoming. That's the only way that
get
Wyoming can vote.
get vaccinated against ligma.
Yeah, get casting against
Uh,
Ligma, or else it's going to spread like wildfire through your community.
yeah. Uh, uh, make new D's nuts jokes
Mm-hmm. Make new
and
music.
pussy,
Make new D's Nest jokes. These are the things the youth need to get on.
pussy.
So, bussy. That's the other thing.
There we go. I think we covered the bases. You put up with
Oh,
my ass for 10 years. This is what you get.
I know. I know. So that's what I get, and I'm probably still gonna deal with it for another 10 years. That's what I get either way. So, anyway, this has been our episode of Slipping Through the DMs, and I hope to see you guys in our next session. And in our next Slipping Through the DMs, we'll have another one of the players on and discuss their characters and the session that we played previously to that. So, until then, I hope you see you guys in the next campaign session.
We're serious about that,
Goodbye.
like, whole getting vaccinated thing. Do that. I'm serious. Get vaccinated against ligma. You, me. Do it.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.